It's a little late, but I have a few questions for you on St. Patrick.
Ah, well, dear old St. Patrick, the best Frenchman God ever made. Oh, I'm sorry, you were saying?
Okay, the first and most obvious question is, did St. Patrick really chase all of the snakes out of Ireland?
He sure did, and they swam across the Atlantic and became judges and politicians. That's how we got the name the United Snakes of America. No, it's true. Well, we certainly haven't seen any snakes in Ireland since St. Patrick's time. And we've seen a lot of them over here in courthouses and state houses and Congress and the White House, so I'd say sure. Yeah, well.
Okay,
What? Oh, you want more than that?
yeah, I do. You know what, I do.
I thought that was enough, but all right, if you want more. No, Ireland doesn't have any snakes today. Some people say it never had any snakes, so they weren't there to drive them out. But if that were true, then how did they end up here running the show?
Well,
Gotcha there, Bunky.
I know you don't always see eye to eye with modern scholars.
Oh, I do. If modern scholarship exists,
But
there are several schools.
some modern scholars say that the snakes really was a metaphor for pagans who often had snake tattoos, and that St. Patrick really drove pagans out of Ireland.
That would be, if there were any record of pagan Irish refugees going places, then yeah. But I've never heard of such a thing. I mean, you see, what happens is you start with the supposition that the miracle can't occur, and then you try to come up with things that might fit the bill. Well, okay, let's say he did. Where'd they go? Other than here to become politicians and judges and lawyers. Where are these pagan refugees from Ireland? Where were the pagan Irish communities that set up in exile? Nobody's ever heard of them because they didn't exist, I would be willing to guess. Whereas our politicians and lawyers, anyway, we did that.
Yeah.
Can we move on to another gag? That was old.
Yeah.
I'm tired of that one.
Okay, another question on St. Patrick. Is it fair to say that St. Patrick is the most popular Irish saint? And why do you think that is? What were some of St. Patrick's accomplishments?
Well, the answer is yes. I do think he's certainly the most popular saint in Ireland. And there are a number of reasons why he was so popular. Firstly, there have been attempts to convert the Irish before. The mission of St. Palladius and so on, which had limited success, some but not much. But he worked through the Irish monarchy and clan system. He lit the Easter fire, and of course we've got Holy Saturday coming up, so this is something to think about when you see the priest. If you go to the Vigil Mass, you see the priest light the fire. St. Patrick did that on the Hill of Slane. Now that was noticeable for the Hill of Tara, where the High King of all Ireland had his court. And he sees this thing, and his druids see this thing, this flame suddenly appear. And they had no idea what it was. And so they said, they talked to Patrick about it, and the druids tried their spells on him, and he smacked them around. So he worked through the existing social system in Ireland. And not unlike the Jesuits many, many centuries later, he knew that if you're trying to convert a heathen society, you start with the upper crust. So that is what he did. But he also traveled all over the country. He was constantly on the move. And the Irish loved him. He understood them. And he loved them because, remember, he had been a slave amongst the Irish. He was originally, people dispute whether he was Briton from England or Breton from France, but whichever he was kidnapped by Irish pirates as a boy. He was from a noble family, hence the name Patrick, which is patrician, same root.
Oh, okay.
And he was not used to doing this kind of thing, but they put him to work as a shepherd. And he saw the Irish at their worst.
Wait, the pirates put him to work as a shepherd?
No, they sold him as a slave.
Oh, okay.
And then his master put him to work.
Oh, I see.
And he was able, some years later, to make his escape. but then he had a vision of the Irish going to hell and begging him to come back and help them, which he did. So he had a real love of the Irish. He knew them from the bottom up, and he converted them from the top down. So, there's an old song, St. Patrick loves Ireland, his love is recorded in hearts that have suffered too much to forget. It's very true. The Irish, of course, today are a far cry from their ancestors, as the referendum on gay marriage shows us. But nevertheless, they're not all like that. And there's enough of the old Ireland still in existence to give one hopes for a future Ireland better than what we see now.
Did St. Patrick make a prophecy about...
Well, he prayed to God that he would sink Ireland into the sea 7 years before the coming of Antichrist. Because he said, my poor dear Irish, they will never be able to stand up to him. He'll take them in.
Wow.
So if you see Ireland sink into the sea, give yourself 7 years to get your stuff in order. Antichrist is en route.
Okay. Well, that's reassuring, because...
Hasn't sunk yet.
It hasn't sunk yet. We're okay.
Looks awful close. No, it's a wonderful country and a very sad country, and never sadder than now that it's so betrayed itself.
Yeah.
That's the thing, you hear the Irish going on about the English and how terrible they are and all. England was never able to do to Ireland what Ireland's done to herself in the last 30 years. And, it's a little bit like when you're talking to an atheist Jew. And they talk about being God's chosen people. I'm old enough to remember when the Irish, certainly in America, considered themselves to be the Catholics. Well, that's nice, if it's true. But when an atheist Jew tells you, goes on about being the chosen people, what are you talking about? You don't believe in God. There's only one person who chose you, and not for anything good. Similarly, with apostate Irish, they've got nothing to be superior about, and certainly nothing to be annoyed with the English about, seeing that they've conformed themselves to English morals.